You know, when it comes to the legal process, we can oftentimes be a little intimidated and, quite frankly, a little scared. But there's assistance out there for you. Today, we have Laura Temmey, senior legal writer for FindLaw.com, the oldest legal information website that exists. And she's here today to help us find the appropriate professional for all of our legal needs. Welcome, and thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Look, I know this may sound a little basic, but let's start at the beginning. How do you know when you need a lawyer?
You can start with a little bit of research and figure out what sort of legal issue you're facing. Like, have you been injured at work or in a car accident? Are you thinking about getting divorced or opening a business? And there are some legal issues that are pretty straightforward that you can maybe handle on your own using do-it-yourself resources. But once you start getting minor children involved or complex assets, that's when you really need to have somebody on your side who can help. And that's what FindLaw and Super Lawyers are here to do. FindLaw offers free, easy-to-read information about all sorts of different legal topics, and both have nationwide directories of attorneys who can help.
Super Lawyer! This is a great name,
the best
right?
name. They do.
Absolutely. Well, now, what should our viewers do when they're looking to hire an attorney?
It's important to do your research and ask a lot of questions. Most attorneys will offer an initial consultation, usually for free, where you can get an idea of how they would handle your case and what you might do going forward. And it's important to make sure that you understand the whole process, and if anything doesn't make sense, ask more questions. It's part of their job to make sure it makes sense. And most importantly, ask how they handle their fees.
God, well, fees. Let's talk about fees a little bit, because they tend to be expensive. If people don't know, you got hourly rates, you have this kind of rate. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and in a consultation, you should absolutely ask about how they handle their fees up front. Usually, depending on the type of case, it'll be one of three ways. You might have an hourly rate or a billable hour. They might do a flat fee for specific services like a power of attorney or a will. And then you have contingency fees, which is pretty common in personal injury cases. And that means that the attorney only gets paid if you win your case. So if they negotiate a settlement for you or win a judgment in court, they take a percentage of that. And it's important to make sure to ask about how they handle sort of additional fees like administrative costs or court fees.
Well, that's the goal of what your company is to really help clients find the best representation they deserve and they need, right?
Hiring an attorney is a very personal decision, and it can be an intimidating process, but it doesn't have to be. Usually you can find the basics of what you need on FindLaw.com in our legal articles, as well as our nationwide directory. Plus, Super Lawyers has done some of the background research for you when it comes to hiring a really, really good attorney. They have a peer recommendation process that can identify attorneys who are especially good at what they do.
I love that name still. Super Lawyer!
It's pretty great.
Thanks so much for being a part of the show today. Honestly, you've given us some really good information. If our viewers wanted to find out more, where do they go? What website?
It's FindLaw.com and SuperLawyers.com.
SuperLawyers.com. Super Lawyers! I don't know why I keep saying that. Thanks so much for being here. And look, of course, if you want more information, you can always go to our website, thebalancingAct.com. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.